Ready or
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to SDN for Season 5, Tier 1 at the Belgian Grand Prix, ready for Round 4. Sorry about the technical difficulties on our end, but we are live and ready for the action here in Belgium. My name is Jamie, or Indigo, and alongside me is Milana Langer. How are you doing? Hoe gaat het?
Het gaat goed, thank you. Glad to be back once again for the third time, I think it is now in SDN. It's been very fun so far, so let's have another good one then.
It's the fourth time. This is the fourth race of the season, so we are here commentating for you guys for the fourth time. It is full qualifying, so the first qualifying session, 18 minutes. Only one driver will get knocked out because there was 16, so the bottom 5 will go, or the bottom 1, should I say, depending on who that is. In Q2, the top 10 will go through, the bottom 5 will get knocked out, and in Q3, we'll see the top 10 shootout ready for pole as the Red Bull driver, as Ruben starts his flying lap in the Red Bull then as he crosses the line, as we see what happens going down towards turn 1. But it was an interesting race back at the Austrian Grand Prix when it was Haas who won the Austrian Grand Prix. After it was actually Eastbrand who won the Grand Prix, sorry, not Haas, as he got pushed down to P3 after contact was made at turn 3 with him and somebody else, and that ruined his lap. And Ruben, talking about that, has invalidated the top of I think it was Eau Rouge already on.
Yeah, so interesting race last time out in Austria. The expected DRS battles were obviously there from start to finish. But tonight we were in Belgium with, a very long straight as well. And AMS Ivan is going to be the first one to try and set a lap time. He's in the final sector, going through Bronchemont and into the final chicane, the bus stop chicane, which isn't really a bus stop anymore in these days. But it's still a chicane, so it's got at least 50% of its name, of its original name. Here we go then, coming out of the final corner. Ivan, the first lap time on the board is going to be a 1:42.888.
As FaZe Dennis goes up into P2 with a 43.1 there as he followed Ivan on his lap time. It's more yet to cross the beam and cross the line to see what they could do. Mike is back in the Ferrari. The last time he raced was at the Miami Grand Prix as he finished in P3 that day. A fantastic podium as well after being in P7. Unexpected podium for him, but he made that lunge up the inside towards turn 11 against Kick and his own teammate Fireblaze, and that led him to the podium as well. As what have you seen?
Didn't Mike say that was his last race?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, what is he doing here?
I have no idea, but the Aston Martin goes towards the top with a 42.6.
Mike giving his teammate a slipstream, but then proceeding to head off into the wall and into the grass. As Kick now goes to the top, 42.0, 6 tenths clear.
Kick, interestingly, hasn't won a race yet this season. He, the last season champion, still yet to win. He has scored a podium, but that was back in the sprint race, and he scored second place at the Australian Grand Prix when Lucas was the one that won. But I don't think Lucas is not here tonight, unfortunately, as it's FaZe Dennis occupying his seat. So Kick is still yet to place with a 42.0 in the championship standings. He's currently P4 behind Zach, and Zach once again unfortunately is not here tonight in the Alpine, so Alpine are losing crucial points here in the championship by the drivers not turning up. So I wonder what it is going on between those guys there, as both Alpines had a fantastic result back in Miami and at the Australian Grand Prix, but this time round it looks like they're on the back foot because the main driver's not here, as I think it is Stefan, who is racing in the Alpine in 12th place. I think he's a Division 2 driver, if I'm not mistaken, is Stefan, because I've heard the commentator, the Dutch commentator who usually commentates in Division 2, as Fireblaze now goes up into P2 with a 42.1. Kraken Haas is up into P3 with a 42.3, as Eastbrand, unfortunately for him, has invalidated his lap time as he was last week's race winner.
Speaking of Fireblaze, by the way, he's got an opportunity tonight to score big points in the championship. He is P2 in the championship, 6 points behind Lucas, but as Lucas is not racing tonight, he can gain points and potentially take the lead of the championship, as the man right behind him in the championship is also not racing, which is Zach. So his closest competitor is Kick in the other Williams. So Fireblaze could make a very good ground up in the championship, as his teammate goes fully off track there. But Fireblaze currently P2. A bit over 1.5 tenths behind Kick, but a good first banker lap, and could be fine to see a Ferrari on the top step of the podium tonight.
We'll see, because Ferraris have had 3 podiums this season, and the most to be scored in P3. I think it was his teammate Finn Hertz who finished in P1. P3 at the Australian Grand Prix. Then it was Mike in Miami, then Fireblaze in P3. So they've scored multiple P3s so far. Can they go better? But so far, Fireblaze is currently in second place, 2 tenths of the Kraken Haas, with Ruben in P4. Mike is in 11th place. We just saw him go wide into Lacombe. So that's his lap time done and dusted there, as he just locked up and plainly went out wide. But of course, he's on the medium compound tyres, as I think he'll switch over to the Cessna compound tyres. But some people can afford to use mediums because only one driver will get knocked out at this qualifying session. So we'll see who that lucky driver is. Eastbound is on a flying lap time in P1. Downhill, he heads towards Stavolo. This can be a difficult corner here. If you take too much care on the inside, can throw the car off balance as well. Save for the second pop, but lead it on the outside. Be very careful on the gravel on the outside, because it's easily flicked up. Taking a nice wide angle through here as we head now towards forgot what it's called. Stavolo, yeah, this is Stavolo. As we make our way now out of Stavolo. Timmy Boy has joined the session. I meant to say the final chicane where he was headed, not Stavolo. As now we make our way towards Blanchimont. We saw back in 2015, it was Max Verstappen versus Felipe Nasser in the Sauber and the Toro Rosso, when he made a fantastic move on the inside. Heading towards the bus-stop chicane where we saw Sebastian Vettel and Jenson Button collide back in 2010. Here comes Eastbound towards the line now. It's a 41.6, and he puts his Haas into P1 and 4 tenths clear of kick. So it looks like the Haas again has got some mighty pace there. Stefan, as Kraken Haas, has also retired in the pit lane then, so he knows he's safe for the time being, as Stefan makes his way towards the top end of turn 4 and turn 5 and turn 6. This fast flowing sequence of corners to the top hill, top of I think it is Lacombe. It is. Sorry about that, I haven't really done my research for this track. I used to know all the corner numbers, but got a bit rusty recently. As we make our way now towards No Name, it uses all the curb on the outside, downhill towards P1. A lovely place to watch Formula 1 cars, as we've seen back in 2019 where Antonio Giovinazzi crashed at the exit, and he crashed on the last lap as well, despite being in the points at the time as well.
Indeed, he did. Costly for him to score points in Alfa Romeo, which was not very usual back in the day. As we look at Stefan going through the final sector, going into the final sector, he seems to be going purple, but it's not always the case on this game. Now onto the run towards the final chicane, full throttle, flat out, with only one corner in between, and it's this one. Blanchimont. And on the exit, have to keep it within the white lines. And down into the final chicane, which is very tricky, because it's also a bit of an uphill corner, so you have to be careful with the throttle as he comes around the final corner. And what is his lap time gonna be in the Alpine? A 1:42.2, good enough to put him in P4, right behind Fireblaze, and just a tenth ahead of Geitenkaas, and I'm sure that's gonna be enough to get him through into Q2.
Of course, the main goal in qualifying is to get yourself through top 15. If you can, only one person will get knocked out, so let's see who that person is. But with Nick, currently P16 in the Sauber, Timmy Boy has rejoined the session, so he must have internet connection issues there. As Stefan there, currently P4 in the Alpine, I think he is a Division 2 driver as well. Fireblaze has retired. We know multiple people will retire, but it's all about one person here tonight. Who is that lucky person who will get knocked out of Q1? As Ivan, unfortunately, the exit there of No Name in validation lap time. He was on a hot lap, but I'm not quite sure if he was up or down in the first sector, but never left in the car, so we can't go for the lap time, unfortunately. So we'll have to head back in the pit lane, but I'm not quite sure if he's safe or not, because you know sometimes how close he can get around here. As Daniela, well, he was up there with his teammate in the race, but unfortunately got, I think he spun around at turn number 4 or got pushed off the track in turn 4. Look at the speed he carries through there. 336 kilometers an hour as he carries the speed through 5th gear at the top of Lacombe. On the exit at the top of the hill, turn 7, as we head down towards Brussels. Of course, going to lock the inside front there, as it's so easy to do so. Back to the throttle once again before we make our way now towards No Name. A slight lift off there, no need to use the brakes as the corner has been reprofiled. As we make our way now towards Pure, we go. Let's see if he's flat out. Let's listen. It is flat out. Keeps the throttle pinned as we head down now towards the final chicane. We'll see what he does towards the end of the middle sector. Eastbrand has retired knowing he's safe for sure. No need to waste a set of soft compound tyres out there as we make our way now towards turn 14. This corner doesn't really have a name. Out of 5th gear we go, 40.2 in the middle sector. Danielle's got some really impressive pace at the Haas, but unfortunately got caught up in some incidents. I remember, I think he is also spun at turn 1. That was Eric, sorry. Eric spun at turn 1, and Daniele had his own problems later on in the Grand Prix as well. Here he is coming through Blanchimont. He goes for 310 kilometers an hour. That's about 190 miles per hour as we head down towards the bus stop chicane. We go. Look at that, the back of the car. Cole plated as he fires for traction. DRS enabled as he crosses the line. It goes up into P7. Will that be enough? That's the question.
It could probably be enough. 42.4. He's quite a bit ahead of the drivers down the P14, almost a second. But Haas were looking quite strong last week with, of course, Eastbrand winning the main race. And Daniele was the one on pole position, but he couldn't convert it into a race when in fact he was the first retirement. He also had a very poor start to that race, losing 5 positions before turn 1, if I remember correctly. Now he's in P7 as the entire top 6 has now retired. Stefan, the next one to go. So I'm pretty sure Daniele will probably be safe. But it's going to be between, Dennis, Rikayu, and Mike. Still hasn't set a lap time yet, nor has Dominic. Both of them out on track. Mike is on lap now, going through the final sector, deploying all the ERS. He's only got like 30% left as he pushes towards the final chicane through Blanchimont. We will go. The Ferrari driver was on the podium in Miami. What was supposed to be his final race, but he's back here, nonetheless, here in Belgium. As we go into the final chicane, much tighter than the Haas of Daniele just now around the final corner. Mike across the line, a 1:42.4, puts it in P8, right behind the Haas. And I'm pretty sure he will be able to make it, which leaves only Mummy Nick now without a lap time in P16.
Yeah, we know the Kick Sauber or Mummy Nick always struggles in qualifying and in the race. I wonder if he might struggle here tonight in Belgium. This is one of the longest circuits on the calendar, being 7 kilometers long, and it's been around since the official Formula 1 Championship since 1950, Monza. Oh, look at that, a massive snap out of turn 1 already. So not a good start to the lap there for Mummy Nick, as he couldn't get the throttle down as quickly as he would have wanted without breaking traction. As we head towards the top of Eau Rouge and Radion, we're seeing plenty of amazing overtakes. I think Mark Webber on Fernando Alonso back in 2010, Kimi Raikkonen on Mick Schumacher in 2012, as Mummy Nick coming towards the end of the first sector, Michael Schumacher, in the Mercedes, as we head towards the end of the first sector. 31.0, a bit hesitant there, but he throws the car in, chucks the car in. I know both Saubers have really struggled as he goes off the track there, and unfortunately that lap time will be ruined because he will lost a lot of lap time. Luckily for him, he didn't invalidate, but he will lose a lot of lap time due to that.
Yes, indeed. Fortunately enough to not invalidate, but going to the crowd will never help your lap time. So I'm sure he will have to try again. I wonder if he's got time to go for another lap. Unless he's got fuel still in the tank, he can try again after this one, because only 3 minutes left. It's going to be very tight if he wants to go into the pit lane at the end of this lap. He's still pushing on, to be fair to him, so let's see if he can find a representative lap time out of this one, as he will now head into the final sector in the Kick Sauber. 43.3 at the moment is what he needs. But I wouldn't say he's going to be safe, as he has a big moment hitting the curb, and that has certainly ruined this lap for sure now.
It's a shame for Mummy Nick, but I think he's got the fuel to go for it again, unless he wants to put on a bonus set of soft compound tyres to make it into Q2. But we're about to find out what he does. Will he dive back in the pit lane? Mike has retired knowing that he is safe, so he should go through without any problems whatsoever. Both Ferraris are now through into Q2. But Mummy Nick, it's all eyes on him to see if Reiki gets knocked out or not. He is going for the lap time as he opens up the corner out of the bus stop chicane. DRS wide open down the main straight, heading towards turn 1, breaking up the 100-meter board, scrub off all the speed, locks up on the inside, get back to the throttle without losing the back end. Much tidier from Mummy Nick this time as he applied the throttle, but the back end of the car was stable. Now heading uphill towards Eau Rouge and Radion. This would have been difficult back in the olden games where you had the balance etc. But you had to adjust it to the car's liking, and it was so easy to lose at the top end, the top of Radion. Now we're coming towards in the first sector for Mummy Nick. He's going to be about only a 300 sub, despite correcting the top car at turn number 1 as we exit turn 7 now. Mummy Nick doesn't dip a wheel in the gravel. We're headed down towards Reforge we go. Let's see how he takes it. Locks up on the inside front, but that's quite normal because you brake in and turn in essentially at the same time. Now we're coming towards No Name. We go in 4th gear, back up into 5th. A bit of overtake being used there. Doesn't use the esports line if you remember that all those years ago, but cuts the grass there in towards Puon. I'll now definitely lose a lot of time.
Indeed, doesn't look like the tightest lap of all as he hits the curb on the inside there as well, unsettling the car a little bit. Once again here on the exit, does keep it within the white lines, but I wonder if it's going to be enough. He knows this is his final lap. He hasn't got any ERS left nor any fuel to go for another lap, so this is his one and only lap to try and get himself into the second part of qualifying. He's got no ERS left going on to the backstraight. That will certainly not help his case, because you will definitely need the ERS on this straight, losing a lot of straight line speed as well. As we head now towards the final chicane, Ivan has gone up to P6 in the McLaren. He will be safe to go through Q2, but it's all about this man, Muminek, P16. I don't think he's quite going to be able to make it across the line. A 143.9, definitely not going to be good enough. Muminek is out of qualifying.
And there's a Q1 lockout there, unfortunately, as Reiki Yu starts a flying lap behind him, but he doesn't really have to, of course, unless he wants to go for another lap to feel for the conditions as we exit turn 1 here. I'm not quite sure if he's on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. He is. So, unnecessary use there of a brand new set of soft compound tyres. And Radion in 8th gear, as we see the timer tick down to 0 almost as qualifying Q1. We've done a duster. We've got multiple people out there. Starts the flying lap. FaZe, Dennis, Octavia, TVH Netherlands, and I think Daniela as well, as he enters the Lecombe section here. A few hundreds up in the first sector, carried his speed through 5th gear, back to the bottom once again. And as you can see, he's fueled the car for 1 lap only, as FaZe Dennis crossed the line to go up into P13, ahead of Octavia by exactly 100th of a second there. So 5 margins between those two drivers, as that could be very critical heading towards Q2. 42.9 set by TVH Netherlands there, so those two are just outside the 42s, where the majority of them are. As now we flick our way towards final chicane, we goes a bit wide in the initial phase, but hooks it up in the second part, headed towards turn 13 we go. Misses the apex slightly, but on the throttle again, as he's 2/10 up in this middle sector, and looking to improve on his time to see where his reference points is. Now we're coming towards the back straight with all the overtake available left to him, as Mum and Nick only had 10%, Reiki Yu has 30%, headed down this straight before we make our way towards the bus stop chicane. Slamming the brakes of the 100-meter ball as he uses the curve very nicely by the back end of the car. Complaining on him, and that's his lap time ruined, unfortunately for him, as he won't improve his time.
Indeed, took a little bit too much curb into the final chicane, and that lost him all the time he had gained. Fortunately enough, though, it doesn't matter, as he's going to be coming through into Q2 anyway. So is Toktapia, who had invalidated his lap. So that will see the end of qualifying, with Mominik, the sole driver, going out in qualifying, and all 15 of the others will be going through. But it's Isbrand on top by quite a bit of a margin, almost 4/10 of a second, though it was only 1 lap for everyone at the top.
I'm not quite sure if I saw rain on the horizon on my screen there, as the clouds are gathered in. It was a sunny qualifying session early doors, but it started to cloud. The clouds have started to gather in. Eastbound is first ahead of Kick, Fireblaze P3 ahead of Stefan, Kaiken Hassan P5 ahead of Ivan. Stefan in Ivan, there we go, I thought I said the same name twice. Ruben in P7 ahead of Danielle, Mike in P9, great effort for him. Jose in P10 ahead of F1 Shores, TVH in P12 ahead of FaZe Dennis, Doctavia, Reiki, and 1 driver eliminated who took the fall. It is Murray Nick, the only driver eliminated in Q1, as there's 16 of them. So we head into Q2. This is all about getting yourself inside the top 10, and the bottom 5 will be eliminated. Let's see who the bottom 5 are, as the pressure starts to ramp up, and it is raining, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, the weather has changed, and we'll see how much an effect this puts on the drivers heading towards the second qualifying. I thought I saw rain on my screen, Milan.
Yeah, so you were right, but this is going to make things very interesting indeed, because that switches up absolutely everything. All the lap times we just saw in Q1 won't matter if you're quick in the dry, because now you're going to have to do it in the wet, and I don't think it's going to be on the slicks anymore. It's raining quite significantly, so probably we'll see cars going out on the intermediates. We see multiple cars going out already. Let's take a look at, I think that's one of the Mercedes drivers going out, must be F1 shorts or TVH, and indeed it is intermediate conditions, so the rain is pouring down here at circuit Spa-Francorchamps, and everyone is going out already.
Indeed they are then.
At the end.
Indeed then, so majority of drivers are out immediately to get a feel for the track, maybe do a few laps on these set of intermediates, and we'll see what happens. It really qualified at the 2024 Belgian Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen took pole ahead. I think it was Sergio Perez. I think it was a Red Bull 1-2 that day. In fact, it wasn't. I think it was, I'm quite sure. I remember Perez doing really well because he got slammed at the Hungarian Grand Prix for crashing until he turned up in Belgium, started P3, but ended up finishing behind Verstappen, despite Verstappen taking a 10th-place grid penalty, I think, for a new power unit. And Verstappen, we all thought that at Belgium, he would storm to the field because he started, I think, outside the top 10 in 2023, I think, and 2. And he still went on to win the Grand Prix, but we all thought he stormed through. But he finished, I think, in the end in P5 or P6 ahead of Lando Norris, crucially, because Lando Norris did not have a good race there either.
It was mostly the race for the Mercedes drivers. George Russell winning the race on track in front of my own eyes, but then later on getting disqualified, as it was said in the car on the way back home, handing win to his teammate Lewis Hamilton, one of 2 wins that season. So it was a Mercedes day that day. It hasn't always been the case around Belgium. Remember in 2014 when the 2 silver hours came together and took each other out of the race. Do you remember that?
Say again, sorry, repeat that.
In 2014, Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton colliding here at Spa.
Yep, at the top of Le Combe, and when Rosberg pulled out of the slipstream, and they both went wheel to wheel in towards Le Combe, and unfortunately Rosberg broke his end plate, and Lewis Hamilton sustained a left rear puncture. Hamilton retired that day as well. No safety car came out to help him as he was fighting amongst the Caterhams and Marussias. Do you know what? Back to the past in 2013, talk about Caterham and Marussias. Both Caterhams and both the Marussias made its Q2 with these sort of conditions, and that's the first time we've seen that for a long time as well. Paul Di Resta was also fighting for pole in the Force India that day, but got taken out by Pastor Maldonado at the pit lane in 2013.
Well, surprise, surprise, Pastor Maldonado. Could only be one, couldn't it?
Yeah, Pastor Maldonado is still Williams' last race winner about 12 years ago. As we watch now these drivers head towards the top of Le Combe, and we'll see how treacherous, how tentative all these drivers will be. As you can see, just experimenting with the throttle there, just gingerly trying to get on the throttle, trying to break traction, finding where the grip is, but Stefan goes deep in towards Bassani goes, trying to reconnect the car. And Stefan unfortunately makes mistakes on his lap time. There's a Haas right behind too, so any more mistakes, the Haas will catch up. He's not obliged to get out of the way because he's still on a flying lap, but it might hold the Haas up as Timmy Boy unfortunately leaves the session once again. So we couldn't quite see what he did in Q1 because he didn't choose a car, whether he had internet connection issues or not. But here is Stefan then coming towards the fan chicane in 5th gear, being very careful. This is where we saw Antonio Giovinazzi, I think, and George Russell crash back in 2020 when Antonio Giovinazzi went playing off and he collected George Russell with him. We don't really see many people go off there, do we?
No, not really. It's very unorthodox place for a crash, but Giovinazzi managed it, as he also crashed the year prior, as he already mentioned it, on the final lap of the 2019 Belgian Grand Prix. But yeah, not really a usual place to crash, as Stefan is going to be the first one to select him, but he's struggling through that final chicane. He's trying to gain control over his car, but isn't really succeeding in doing so. His 53.9 is quite a bit off. Eastbrand, who goes up to P1 with his teammate now behind, but then it's F1 Shorts going to the front row, as we see a whole bunch of cars putting in their lap times very early on. And the fact that everyone is out there already at the beginning of the session makes me wonder if it's going to get heavier rain near the end of the session.
Very good points indeed. Light conditions at the start, but these times, the first few times could be very crucial as we head on the bus stop chicane for Fireblaze in the Ferrari as he exits there, being very careful on traction as he makes his way now towards the line. It's P5 just ahead of his teammate Mike by a 1/10 of a second. There's a Red Bull who displaces him as Ruben goes into P5, and there's a Williams behind us. Phase Dennis as Ruben there drifted to the corner at turn number 1. Do you remember when Lewis Hamilton spun there at turn 1 and still actually led?
What's that again?
2008.
2008. Yeah, not the best memory of that, but do remember crazy times back then. But look, by the way, in P11, Geitegaas at the moment is not going through into Q2. Q3, sorry.
That's a very interesting point there. Haas has got some mega pace in the RB, but unfortunately, can't seem to get the lap together. Maybe his second or third lap will be better, depends if the weather stays like this. But he's on the bubble, on the brink of being knocked out of Q3, is Haas, just behind Jose in P10 by about 500ths of a second there. So Haas on his next tour on this lap needs to find more time. 7 kilometers, a wet track, is going to be very difficult, but he's got the skills. Hopefully he has the pace to get himself in there. So he's the outlier, he's the person I find of interest down there in P11 who catches my eyes and my attention.
Indeed, but let's look at another lane. We've got Amos Eastbrand is on pole position, but look at who is beside him on front row at the moment. F1 Shorts, out of nowhere, has found himself in P2 in this qualifying session. That's incredible.
It is indeed. So mega effort there from F1 Shorts in P2. Hello, Racing Nerd. How are you, mate? How nice to see you in the chat as always. As a spectator while making math homework. When you're making your math homework, I think you're meant to say while doing your math homework. But Raikkonen has to make his way towards the final corner as we're about to see what lap time he can set on his second tour here in Belgium as we head down towards turn 1, breaking the 100-meter point. You can see him being very cautious there as he just gingerly applies the throttle there, massive wheel spin as he breaks traction and uses the overtake button as we make our way down towards the top of Eau Rouge and Radion. And let's see what happens to here. Do you remember the 2018 memes when they talked about Eau Rouge and Radion? I find that incredibly cringy.
Yeah, indeed. That's Radion actually. They said all the time. It was funny maybe one time, but it came very old very, very quickly. But Geitengaas not improving in Sector 1, 2 tenths down.
I didn't see him making any obvious mistakes. Maybe he is not really comfortable in these sort of conditions, but he's still building up, and we'll see if he can try and improve or not. But Haas looks like he's in a bit of trouble in the RB, so his main target is to get himself inside the top 10, but even he's struggling with that, despite having mega pace in Q1. So we'll see on his rest of his lap, heading down towards P1 we go, and he jumps into 6th gear. Look at that, the car just bottomed out quite a lot.
Yeah, and he just threw the car in, but the back end didn't want to go, and kind of saw him drifting into that corner. I'm sure that did not do his lap very well. We're about to find out that he is going to cross that second detection for into the third sector. Geitengaas, P11, but he's actually gaining time now, 4 tenths up on his time.
That's very interesting. 2 tenths down in the first sector, but 4 tenths found in the middle sector. That's 6 tenths altogether then. So got some confidence there as Haas as he continues his tour there, coming towards Blanchimont we go. Ivan goes up into P2 with a 52.8, just a tenth shy of Eastbrand in P1. Here comes the RB now as Jose goes up into P3 there, but I think it stopped raining. That was a quick shower.
Indeed. I was just going to mention it. I think the rain has stopped indeed, so it's going to be dry again, which is going to make these final 6 minutes very, very important and very interesting indeed, as the track isn't fully dried out yet. You want to be as late on track as possible, be the last to start your lap to have the best possible conditions.
I love these type of qualifiers there because it really spices things up as Ruben goes towards the top end of the pecking order with a 52.0 as Kit goes in second place as FaZe Dennis squirms at the corner but still goes up into P10 just inside the top 10. But with these times will be they'll be absolutely obliterated now with the track continue to improve. These guys need to make their way back in the pit lane. Remember, it can take a bit of time for a track to dry out as well, so don't rush it, don't go too early, otherwise you'll find yourself outside the top 10. This is something I learned as well when I was doing long qualifying, and the rain stopped and I came out a bit too early, and that unfortunately backfired on me as I wasn't able to set a competitive lap time as I watched the rest of the guys go quicker and quicker until I got dropped into P15. That was back at the Hungarian Grand Prix as Ruben skates on the curb there, not doing his underbody or plank any good.
Then 5 minutes remaining, he is on provisional pole position, but those times will definitely drop as he's taking the alternative route into No Name Corner, newly asphalted corner for probably another series, but he is on his in lap, although going around into Poon and almost doing Antonio Giovinazzi, but he keeps out of the barrier. But Ruben not having a great time on his in lap, but he will be going on to the slicks very soon indeed, just like everyone else. But Fireblaze actually is on an outlap. Not sure if that's the brightest ID, if it's going to dry up very soon. Let's see if it's going to try and set another lap, or is it just going to stow straight back into the pit lane. the Ferrari driver currently in P8, he is going to go back into the pit lane.
Yeah, but I'd say, because if you stay down those intermediates, then that's definitely the wrong strategy. Mike, however, is pulling the trigger. He's got 3/10 quick in the first sector, but I think he's going to make his way back in the pit lane. There's no point being out there when he needs to be in compound tyres, so just get back in. I remember when Lawrence Stroll crashed at No Name. I can't remember what year it was. It was 2023, I believe it was. Surely 2023. I think he went out on the medium compound tyres because it was a sprint. Oscar Piastri, yeah, so it was 2023 because they had to go to the medium compound tyres in SQ1 or SQ2. And I remember Oscar Piastri being in that race too, which made his rookie year 2023. So I think it was that year in 2023 where Lawrence Stroll put it in the wall and Mike invalidates, but it's irrelevant because this time is irrelevant. He needs to get back in the pits and put on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. This could be potentially a one-shot qualifying.
Indeed, then, and Amos Isbrand, he's gone out very early, DRS enabled. That's usually the sign that slicks are the quicker tire and vice versa when it's getting off. And to point out that the intermediates are quicker, but Isbrand, he is out on track, but that's quite early with 3 minutes remaining, unless he's got 2 laps of fuel, or at least 2 push laps of fuel to go for it. But if he only goes 1 lap, I think he's gone a bit too early then.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is the right time for Eastbound, so I think he's just going to go for another push lap here to try and generate more tire temperature as well. And the thing is about these sort of conditions in qualifying is that the pressure is ramped up against you because everybody is going to improve. And if you're one of those drivers who are not really good at setting one lappers or qualifying in general, if you invalidate, if you make mistakes, then you're out of Q3, like I've experienced many times.
Indeed, the pressure is on in this type of qualifying, which wouldn't be very good for me as I'm usually not the strongest in qualifying and couldn't really handle this pressure at all. But in the meantime, we are seeing cars coming out 2 minutes 20. Who is going to be the last one out on track? They will have the best possible track conditions. Just under 2 minutes remaining. And I'm wondering if Isbrand is going to go for another warm-up lap. That could be the strategy. So he has the optimum tire temperature, as warming up the tires is quite difficult on this game, but he's lining it up for maybe a push lap. He is going to use his overtake, so Isbrand very early to start his lap, but here he goes with 2 minutes remaining. I
don't know if it's the right call or not, but he's pulled the trigger now. He can always back off, I think, and maybe, but that Red Bull's just came to the pit lane very late. That's Ruben who is at the pit lane. Oh, it's not Octavia. Let's have a look to see which Red Bull it is. It is Ruben. So Ruben's came at the pit lane very late and have to push hard now to get himself across the line. Warm up the tyres and push hard. So he's going to be very careful now as Eastbound makes his way down the Kemmel Straight, headed towards the Le Combe section. We go 6/10 up in the first sector, but unfortunately, Eastbound has invalidated. Now, the question is, has he got enough time to make his way around the track again and starts his second? He needs to go right about now.
Indeed, but then it's a good thing that he went out that early. If he was going to invalidate on his final run, then it would have been disastrous for last week's race winner. But he's got 1 minute remaining, and it is going to be very tight because Jose was the last one on track, and he went out with only like 1 minute 45, 1 minute 50, which is already very tight. But now Isbrand, he is a couple of seconds behind both of them, so it's going to be very tight. His teammate, though, is going to be the first one now to try and set a lap time with 40 seconds remaining.
The man that starts the pole at the Austrian Grand Prix heads down towards turn 4 as we head through these sequence of corners, mid-speed corners. Very easy to make it wrong as well, very easy to validate as we head now towards the top of the hill. Headed downhill now, coming towards Brussels we go, or reverse, sorry, into third gear. As you can see the back of the car just snapping there as he tries to apply the throttle. Headed towards No Name, upshifted to fifth gear, using all the track on the exit available to him. As we make our way down towards Pune, we go in seventh gear, should be a flat-out corner even in these conditions. There's a Williams who is backed off, I think, in the first sector. That could be Kick or Face Dennis. One of the two Williams have made a mistake, unfortunately, as Eastbound's crossed the line. He can't go for it. Eastbound is in massive trouble in third place. He can't improve his lap time as he's already crossed the line there. A 17.3 in the middle sector there for Daniel. 5 seconds quicker, so Eastbound is in massive trouble. The only hope for him There's other people invalidated on their lap times, but that Williams was not Kick. I think it was his teammate, FaZe Dennis. So Kick still continues, but we're watching on board with the Haasman as he heads down towards the bus stop chicane. We go into third gear, keep it nice and tidy in these final 2 corners. Very easy to overdo it, of course. DRS enabled. Here comes Daniel towards the line. It's a 46.1.
Oh. Geitenkaas is invalidated. Geitenkaas is out of qualifying as well.
Oh my goodness, 2 big heavy hitters here out of qualifying due to these conditions as we got an RB across the line now towards Haas, as you mentioned before. There's a McLaren now that's Ivan headed towards the line. Here he is in the final 2 corners we go. 6 seconds up, of course. The track continues to ramp it up as he crosses the line now. A 44.4, and that tells you why leaving it later is the best idea, of course, but the track continues to improve. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that.
Indeed, Jose is another one to invalidate Eastbound as well, so he's not going to be improving there. That's good news for Eastbound, but there's still a lot of drivers out there who are improving. As Kick goes to the top, 143.8 goes, it means 6 tenths quicker. And F1 Shorts now onto the front row. Here comes Fireblazer across the line. He goes to P2 just under a tenth of a second behind Kick. And Amos Eastbound, he's dropping down to P9, down to P10, down to P11, and Eastbound is out.
Massive shame there. Here comes Ruben across the line. The Germans on pole with a 34.3.
Both Haas drivers are out.
Yeah, they are. Daniel qualifies his teammate. Both Haasers who had the bragging rights in qualifying last week, but this week out of Q3. Can you believe it as well? Unfortunately, both messed up their lap times in P11 and P12. As FaZe Dennis, we know, who made a mistake early doors on his qualifying lap, who is also out of qualifying, unfortunately, and that's the people who have been eliminated in Q3. So we'll see then the top 10 go through. So the people has been knocked out. Look at that, majority are Dutch in there, with a few Austrians and a German. Danielle, who's been knocked out, unfortunately. Eastbrand, last week's race winner, been knocked out. Jose in P13 ahead of FaZe Dennis and Heiken Haas in 15th there. 3 drivers, I dare say, who have got the pace, but unfortunately could not make it through, and they have been knocked out. But the race is yet to come. Anything can happen in this race.
Indeed, some massive names dropping out in Q2, but as you just said, the race is where the points are being scored. But now we're going to take a look at the final part of qualifying, and I can't say with confidence who is going to be on pole position, because the conditions have changed significantly through Q1 and Q2. It's been a bit of a chaotic session with the weather conditions. Let's see if it's going to be dry or wet into the final part of qualifying. It seems to be dry, a bit overcast, but at least it's going to be dry again. So let's see who is going to come out on top. It won't be the Haas, who was very quick in Q1 and Q2, or not Q2, Q1 at least. So there are some other drivers who can profit from this. Fireblaze, Kick might be 2 big names who could go for it, and maybe Ruben as well, as he was very quick in Q2.
I have no idea who's going to take pole here around Belgium, but sometimes pole, Milan, is not the best place to start either, as we've seen before with Lewis Hamilton versus Sebastian Vettel back in 2018, when Sebastian Vettel flew past Lewis Hamilton and took the lead of the Grand Prix. Both Force Indias were also closing in, and interestingly as well, both Force Indias went into administration in 2018 when they went bankrupt, but they were saved by Daddy Stroll, as he now owns Aston Martin.
He then racing point it became Aston Martin it now is, but that was a very interesting start to the race of 2018, very chaotic, especially with that crash in turn 1 as well, with Fernando Alonso going over the top of Charles Leclerc as he got hit in the back from Hulkenberg, and I think Ricciardo had got rear wing damage. Raikkonen with the puncture. Was very chaotic as the element went 4 wide at the end of Kemmel. Let's hope it's not that chaotic in this particular race, but you know how chaotic it can just be around lap 1 around Spa.
Oh yes, asked Lewis Hamilton back in 2012 when Romain Grosjean cut across him, and it took the likes of Kimura Kobayashi out. Fernando Alonso, Pastor Maldonado was involved, but actually wasn't his fault this time. Although he did jump the start, did Pastor Maldonado. He went from like 6th to 7th or 2nd, I think, as he jumped the start dramatically. But yes, that was a big crash heading down towards turn 1 there. Jenson Button won the Belgian Grand Prix with Sebastian Vettel, who started 9th, finished in 2nd that day as well. As Jenson Button as well always going well around Spa. So was Kimi Raikkonen. As unfortunately, back in 2008, where Raikkonen put it in the wall, plunged him on, and Lewis Hamilton got the victory that day after an incredible fight between Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Raikkonen. I was about to say Nico Rosberg then.
Indeed, Raikkonen and Hamilton fighting it out in Belgium. But it wasn't Hamilton who won the race, by the way, because Hamilton, remember, he got
Massa.
that penalty at the end. It was Felipe Massa who got the win. So Hamilton, I think he got like 25 seconds of penalty for cutting the chicane, which is quite ridiculous indeed nowadays. But he crossed the line first, but he fortunately didn't win it. But which saw, well, the end of the season was even more dramatic. So it was kind of a dramatic season all season long.
I remember, I think, Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel coming through as well on the intermediate cup-out tyres. Maybe Nick Heidfeld coming through as well, because I remember a few people were struggling on the snake tyres. As Belgium can always produce something chaotic, as we're seeing in its past history as well. As we make our way now on the Camel Straight for Stefan, who is confirmed a Division 2 driver, as Timmy Boy once again has joined the session. Stefan heads towards the comp, and let's see how he takes it. In fifth gear he goes, misses the apex side as he gets up towards turn 7, back on the throttle again, downhill braking zone, as it's so easy to lock the inside front as you unload your right front tyre. You brake it and accelerate at the same time, or should I say load your right front tyre? No, it's unload, sorry, there we go. As now we head towards P1 we go, let's see how he takes it. In 7th gear, should be flat out as he loses a few revs there, gets on full throttle once again, heading towards Fadji chicane. Let's see how he takes this. This, for me, is the hardest part of the track. I don't know why, but I never do well at the Fadji chicane. I always get it wrong for some reason, whether I miss the apex or just carry a bit too much speed and go wide. Like Stefan has just done right now, get a bit too wide at turn 13, exited Stavolo.
Yeah, indeed. The final part of the Sector 2 is very difficult, and it's especially with the curbs on the inside. They're quite narrow, but they can catch you out immediately. If you even touch the curb by the slightest, it will unsettle the car and easily put you into a spin. And on the exit there's a curb as well, which can drag you right off track into a track limit. As Stefan, not the cleanest lap it has been, but it is going to be a valid lap across the line. A 142.4 will be the first lap time of Q3. Actually, TVH by the way, also into Q3. Both Mercedes doing well here in Belgium, but F1 Shorts unfortunately has invalidated. He will be going back into the pit lane. Let's take a look at Ruben. He also invalidated.
And Kick also invalidates too, so multiple people invalidated on their flying laps, and Elizabeth Ferrari of Mike as well backing off, and he was on an hour lap, so that's why he was backing off. But Fireblaze is on a lap time. Can the Dutchman here get a pole around here at the Belgian Grand Prix? Scored third place back at the Austrian Grand Prix after sustaining damage in the early phases. In fact, he didn't get any penalties. That's why he got himself into P3. Ivan up into P2 to 42.9. Here comes Fireblaze now heading towards the final two corners of this racetrack. Let's see if he can keep it nice and tidy. With the DRS wide open, Fireblaze makes his way towards the line. It's going to be a 41.6. And that's some margin over second place there. But of course, Stefan is a junior driver in Division 2. But let's see if that pole withstands for Fireblaze as TVH goes up into P3 in the Mercedes. But like you said, both Mercedes do really well, as they've got themselves inside the top 10. As also TVH scored a P9 at the Austrian Grand Prix as well. So he also had a good result last time out in Austria. Sorry, that's the wrong one. That's the Australian Grand Prix. Reading the wrong results there.
Potentially looking for a double top 10 finish, perhaps. Fireblaze with a good lap time, but as you said, it's difficult to compare as no other real competitors have set a lap time. The likes of Ruben and Kick going back into the pit lane. Ruben has once again on a lap, but he is invalidated again, so yeah, can only have like 1 or 2 laps for him. Mike is on a lap now in the other Ferrari. Could he potentially put it on the front? Being navigating his way into the second sector through Bruxelles. A difficult hairpin, especially on throttle, coming out of it, and now into no-name corner with well, you can very easily run just a little bit too wide, and which can catch you out, getting yourself a track name down to Puon, which should be fed out in the conditions. He hits the curb on the inside just a little bit, unsettling the rear end of the car. but he manages to keep control over his Ferrari now into these two very difficult corners with curbs on the inside and here on the outside as well, but he keeps it nice and tidy, and it looks to be a very clean lap so far for the Ferrari driver coming up to a bit of traffic, which is his teammate, so we'll get a slipstream from Fireblaze on this final straight, as Fireblaze right ahead of his teammate, not the strongest slipstream, but he has given just a little bit of an advantage as he now heads towards Blanchimont flat out and down into the final chicane. Mike goes downshifting all the way down to third gear. A bit of a moment mid-corner though, and slightly misses the apex on the exit. Not the cleanest of exits across the line. 142.6, 1 second behind his teammate, and at the moment good enough for P3.
Unfortunately for Mike, they're making a big mistake at the bus stop chicane, just lose the back end of the car as he took too much curb on the inside. But we're still waiting for all other competitors out there. They should have a brand new set of soft compound tyres, as they only use one set in Q2 as the rain ended, as it was a quick shower at the Belgian Grand Prix. But now the sun is back out, overshadowing the circuit once again, and we're just waiting for the main competitors to come out. Let's see what Kick, Ruben, Octavian, F1 Shorts could do. F1 Shorts been looking really strong in Q1 and Q2, but unfortunately made a big mistake on his lap time, invalidated and headed back in the pit lane. Now we're just waiting for the other drivers to get out there to see what they can do. And I can't wait for the race, because we've got the likes of Hike and Haas coming to the field as well, and other people that got outside Q2, especially both Haas's as well, with Danielle and Eastbound as well. So we've still got those two yet to we've still got those three making their way to the field, and let's see where they can end up, because they were very competitive in the last few races, especially back in Austria, when all of those guys were fighting for first place. But fortunately for Hacken Haas, contact was made at turn 3. Somebody tapped the back of him, and that's why he lost the Grand Prix, because he lost a few places there. But hopefully he can recover stronger in the race. But so far, it's Williams leading the constructors ahead of Alpine. And they scored, they're about 70 points behind is Alpine. Ferrari and P3. Ferrari and Alpine have got the same points as each other. So that's going to be a very close fight between those guys there. But the drivers who showed up at the early parts of the season, like Matthias and Zach, they were very strong in the first few races. But after that, they never turned up again. So hopefully those guys can turn up, because Alpine are looking for championship fight, especially in P2, being so high up. They're not here, unfortunately. Stefan is though, P2.
Indeed, the eyes are on Ferrari tonight, because Williams have got one car inside the top 10, Alpine have got one car inside the top 10, but Ferrari is the only team with two from the leading team in the Constructors' Championship. So let's see what they can do. It's going to be a one-shot qualifying for Ruben, Kick, Octavian, F1 Shorts, as they haven't set a lap time yet, with 2.5 minutes remaining. It's the Mercedes of TVH NL, going to be the first one on out lap. It's going to be interesting to see what Ruben and Kick can do. Have to keep it within the white lines though, they have to keep that in mind. They can't push at their hardest, because they know they can end up at the back end of the top 10. So it's going to be tricky for them to see if they can push out a lap good enough for pole position, which at the moment belongs to Fireblaze, who is dramatically on pole by almost 0.8 of a second, but I'm sure the gap will be a little bit smaller as he goes out of the pit lane along with his teammate with just under 2 minutes remaining.
So the Ferrari pair are the last ones to come out of the pit lane, followed by the Red Bull behind as well. So they left it rather late. But it's THNL, who's currently in P4, doing a really good job. Representing Mercedes, had a few regular top 10 finishes. He hasn't been higher than, I think, P9 any of the races. He has struggled for pace recently. But here in Belgium, things are turning his way so far. But we've still got other people out there. I think Ivan's also another driver that can definitely improve. AMS Ivan in P6. That's not his true representative pace, surely. Maybe that could be a used set of soft compound tyres. We'll see then what the pace is like from Ivan in the other McLaren as we watch on board TVHNL, as there is 1 minute and 10 seconds left to go in this qualifying. All 10 drivers out there, and we'll see who could take pole away from Fireblaze. Can Fireblaze improve and maintain pole position around here in Spa-Francorchamps? As we see TVHNL, they're making his way towards the final 2 corners to start his final flying lap, just to take the wider angle, as most people do, as the DRS then is open on the main straight, headed down towards turn 1, looking for the braking point on the left hand side, which is 100 meters on the black box on the left hand side there. As he's down in second place, the car sliding just a bit on turn 1 as he tries to get the back end as we head towards Rouge Radio now in 8th gear. Let's see how he takes it. Very nicely indeed. Nice use of the curbs. It's very easy to validate in Eau Rouge Radio. Well, I say Eau Rouge Radio at the top of the hill because it's so easy to cut the corner there. And now we make our way on the Camel Straight where the overtaking possibilities will be high with the DRS as we see NL improving or not improving by 0.005 of a second as he flicks it into 5th gear as we head downhill towards Brussels. As he now makes his way down towards the corner. All 10 drivers are on their lap. Qualifying has ended, but everybody can still complete their flying lap as they cross the line beforehand. As we see NL making his way towards pit where we go, taking a bit of grass on the inside, goes wide, and unfortunately for him, he has invalidated. So go on board with the van now to see what he can do in the McLaren with the 42.9, currently slowest out of the time set as Ruben has crashed at the top of turn 7. The man that was quickest in Q2 unfortunately has retired here, and qualifying will be done and dusted for him. He'll start down in P10, unfortunately for him.
Fireblaze has invalidated. Fireblaze will not improve. His 41.6 is going to be the time to beat, and it's not going to be any quicker for him. So he will have to pray nobody else goes any quicker. But that is going to be massive. But his Ruben is out as well, so it's all eyes probably on Kick, as he's going to be the main competitor to try and beat Fireblaze for pole position.
I dare say Van as well. He's 1 second up in the middle set, so let's keep an eye on him as he heads down towards the Buster chicane. He goes in 3rd gear. Can Van take pole away from Fireblaze as he opens the DRS? As he crosses the line, it's a 41.9. As in the background comes an Alpine as he stays in P3. Stefan, a Div 2 driver in P3. As Hayes is in the chat. Welcome, Hayes. As Reiki Yu goes up into P5 and F1 Shorts up into P2. That's a great lap time there with a 41.8. And Kick now is next to cross the line. As he crossed the line right now, it's P2 with a 41.8. Nobody beats a Fireblaze. Octavia in the Red Bull goes up into P7 with a 42.7. So Fireblaze, despite invalidated, as Mike takes pole. It's a 41.6, and he did it at the final stages of qualifying as he pulled it out the back at the very last minute. Mike, on his return, has taken pole after saying he's retired. It's a Ferrari 1-2 as well. Unbelievable scenes there as Al goes to the toilet.
Where the hell did that come from for Mike in the end? Snatching pole position, he did get a slipstream from his teammate on that final part of the lap, but what a lap in the end, and it's a 1-2 for Ferrari in qualifying. Mike, out of absolutely nowhere, snatches pole position away from his teammate. It's a Ferrari front row lockout, separated by only 12 thousandths of a second, with Kick in P3 1.5 tenths behind, and F1 Shorts, very well done to him as well in P4 in the Mercedes. Very good qualifying for him. Hasn't had the best of luck so far this season. But it's Ivan then in P5 ahead of Stefan, Octavia, Rekaju, and TVH and LP9. Ruben will eventually line up in P10. The only one does not set a lap time in qualifying in Q3 as he crashed out on his only attempt. But big shock there in the end as Fireblaze giving his teammate a tow, probably not expecting Mike to go faster and snatch away pole position. But wow, what an end to qualifying we've just seen. Mike on pole, Fireblaze alongside, and Kick in P3, and now we head into the race for the Belgian Grand Prix. And I think the hards aren't really the tire you want to be using, so we'll probably mostly see mediums and softs being used in this race. It's gonna have to be either starting on softs or the mediums. At the moment, the top 3 are opting for the soft compound tire. There's always chance of a safety car in the early stages, as it can get quite hectic around this circuit, so we'll have to watch out. So, and some drivers go for that bold strategy, starting on softs and hopefully hoping for a safety car. But wow, what a qualifying that was.
Indeed it was. I don't think degradation is quite high around here, so maybe we could see that soft medium strategy implemented in this race. Maybe it could be harsh to mediums or something along the lines like that. Because at the British GP, we saw a few people, but there's no formation up again. So we're going to get racing underway shortly. We are underway at the Belgian Grand Prix. Both Ferraris get off the line well. Here comes a kick now to pull towards the left-hand side as we head down towards turn one we go. Mike stays ahead of Fireblaze. Fireblaze on the outside of his own teammate. One's on the softs and the other's on the mini compound tyres as we go wheel to wheel. Here comes Fireblaze. Up into P2 he goes. But the slipstream now. We're very powerful on this Kemmel straight. We get out drag from the guys behind as we watch now these guys climb up towards the hill. On the Kemmel straight we go. Is anybody looking for an overtake here as we see a few cars behind are looking to pull out of the slipstream as we see the Mercedes of F1 Shorts potentially going to the inside in towards Lecombe they go. The McLaren off the track. That's Ivan just going all four wheels off the track as they continue to go wheel to wheel at the top of turn 7, and F1 Shorts now takes his way up to put himself up to P4 as Timmy Boyd did join eventually, so both Alpines are here, but Daniels has already made a mistake. Unfortunately, he is dropped towards the back end of the field as the Haas driver. Oh, Aston Martin spun and he hits the Alpine. That was Jose. Unfortunately, go for a spin and he tagged the Alpine driver of Timmy Boy. Unfortunately, gets a broken end plate for his troubles, but Mike is under massive pressure from Kick. Fireblaze has checked out. The gap is over a second now. Fireblaze has left Mike to defend from Kick.
Indeed, Mike is holding off the cars behind to try and create as much of a gap to Fireblaze to drive away and cruise on to win, although it's lap 1 of 22, but a good start from the Ferraris to keep it in P1 and P2 as they can work together. Here comes Kick, he's already on the outside of Mike, wheel to wheel through Blanchimont, around the outside goes Kick up into second place, but the gap to Fireblaze already 1.3 seconds. Mike is now right behind Kick and will have the DRS on the next race, as DRS will be enabled at the end of this lap. Fireblaze in P1, 1.4 ahead of Kick, then it's Mike and Shorts in the background. Timmy Boy into the pit lane. I wonder if he has got to be able to pick a setup, as he was only joining in the race, not in qualifying. See that Ruben has gone up to P7. He's on the hards. He's right ahead of the Aston Martin, making good progress as well so far. Just as Eastbrand, who started outside the top 10, and he's already up into P6.
By Mike is side by side. He has overtaken Kick. The Red Bull driver Ruben gets swamped by Reiki Yu as F1 Shorts now down the inside of Kick as he puts himself up into P3 there. So the power of the DRS is really effective. Maybe Fireblaze can use this to advantage, being outside the DRS range of his fellow competitors as Mike goes defensive on the inside, caused a headache against his fellow competitors as they want to chase after Fireblaze, as Mike is doing his teammate a helping hand there by keeping these guys at bay. But F1 Shorts, surely not. Now down the inside, in towards P1 he goes as he takes P2 away from Mike there. Kick is there to follow through, but Kick will be so frustrated. In fact, all these guys will be so frustrated that Fireblaze is pulled away, because once you break the DRS, it's hard to get yourself back in there. As Heiken Haas puts himself up into P10. Great start from Eastbrand in P6. 6 places made. Rupert from P10 to P7. And like you said, it's on the hardcore power tires as well. Heiken Haas from P15 to P10. So great start for him in the RB, chasing down Reiki Yu. And the biggest loser out of all that was Danielle and Jose, who have lost 3 places each. In fact, Stefan, who's lost 5 places, sorry, he went from Mike and Kick now go wheel to wheel. As look at this, a multi-car battle in towards the bus stop chicane we go. 2 by 2 as we head down towards the final corner. Mercedes versus the Williams. The Haas sneaks through. That's Eastbrand up into P4. Ahead of Mike, ahead of Ivan now. Great start from him as they all swap lines as we head down towards turn 1. Into La Source they go. Eastbrand defending from the Mercedes, goes a bit deep. Now Mike takes advantage of him as he puts himself into P4. But F1 Shorts is still there. But now Mike is fully ahead and up into P4 he goes. But it's a big battle for P2 because Fireblaze has checked out. Mike is all of the gearbox and the rear wing of Eastbrand as they have the DRS on the Williams driver. Here they go then as the Williams is in the middle. And now Mike is up into P2 ahead of Eastbrand. Eastbrand down the inside. It's a risky move. Lays the brakes. He's up into P2 as he has a massive slide. And here comes Kick up the inside of the Ferrari driver too as they bang wheels headed down towards Ravashi go. This is a massive fight. But Eastbrand on lap 3 up into second place. 10 places gained on 3 laps. Unbelievable.
Brilliant start there for Eastbrand. Mike absolutely playing the ultimate team game and fighting for it live to try and fight off these guys to create a gap to Fireblaze. It's already 3 seconds now, but Eastbrand indeed outside the top 10. He's up into P2 due to all the kerfuffle between Mike and the cars behind. Hits the curb on the inside, but he's already trying to close the gap to Fireblaze. It's 2.8. Kick in P3. Mike seems to be out of the fight for P2 as these cars are definitely quicker than the Ferrari driver is right now. Avan and P5 F1 Shorts, unfortunately due to all that fighting, dropped down to P6 behind the McLaren as well. And then it's a bit of a gap to the two Red Bulls, who are now swapping positions, although Ruben goes completely onto the grass trying to get past his teammate. And I'm surprised that isn't even a... Yeah, there is an illegal overtake. I was going to say, fully overtook his teammate off track. The two Red Bulls are now going side by side, both on the hards, and Geitenkaas is trying to get out of that on top, but is not going to be able to get past just now, as Eastbrand sets the fastest lap of the race and is trying to chase after Fireblaze.
He is indeed. Sorry about that comment. And the chat, there's your wish. Your wish is my request. Usually I do that. But as you can see, there's the tyre compounds. No wonder Fireblaze is well ahead by 3 seconds because it's on the soft compound tyres. So, utilising these softs before the peak performance has dropped off, as Mike did his teammate a massive favour. That could be team play there for both Ferraris, helping Fireblaze pull an advantage on those soft compound tyres, as both Red Bulls and swap places. Haas is boxed in with nowhere to go, as he can't go anywhere, as the Red Bulls create a blockade. And now it goes deep in the corner, and Haas is up at the inside, but the Red Bull defends. That's Ruben. They're all getting a bit messy down in towards these corners here. A few people making contact left, right and centre, as the Red Bull of Octavia has been pushed out of the order, but now back on the inside as he has a massive snap again out turn 7 there, as Octavia has been demoted down. TVH NL backs out P1, not going to go for that risky move there, otherwise contact would have been made. But yes, Fireblaze, the gap is 2 seconds, so Eastbrand has caught up to a bit towards Fireblaze. The gap was 2.8, that was 2 seconds then, so already the gap is going down between Eastbrand and Fireblaze.
Indeed, from much quicker at this stage of the race, which is actually surprising since we're only in the opening few laps, and the softs should have the advantage on this lap, with Fireblaze unable to maintain the gap of around 2 to 3 seconds, down to 1.8 it is now, and he's dragging Kik and Mike and Van and everyone short with him. So these 5 drivers slowly gaining on Fireblaze out in front. As we go on to lap 5, the gap is now 1.6 between Fireblaze and Eastbrand. Once again setting the fastest lap of the race, 1:45.3. But yeah, they're all gaining on Fireblaze. His kick goes a little bit deep into turn 1. Fireblaze already seems to be struggling with the tires on lap 5 then.
The consequences are starting on the soft compound tyres, as the juice goes very quickly around here as we climb towards the top of Eau Rouge already on Fireblaze. The gap is 1.6. It was 2.8 a lap ago. The gap has gone down significantly between the top two, as the problem is as well that Eastbrand is bringing a load of drivers behind as well, as Mike very close to the back of Kik once again. A few more people exchanging the positions there in the midfield, as that's the second group of this race. The field spread, as it's called, with the DRS has been broken due to people fighting quite hard, but the gap is almost under a second between Eastbrand and Fireblaze there, almost under a second, just a few more tenths that Eastbrand needs. So Fireblaze's lead has been short-lived, unfortunately, after Mike did an incredible job holding the guys behind, trying to build up as much of a gap as he could. And I thought for 1 second Mike would go down the inside of Kik into the final chicane, but thinks better of it as he keeps himself in P4, followed by Van and F1 Shorts, it must be said, who is doing a great job in the Mercedes. Unfortunately, his teammate dropped down dramatically in the early part of the Grand Prix.
Indeed, holding on to that leading group, which is going to be the most important thing in this race. But yeah, Eastbrand has closed the gap. Yellow flags are out. That is Jose, who's gone off in the place where Giovinazzi crashed 4 years ago. But Fireblaze, the gap is 7 tenths to Eastbrand, but Kik is not within DRS range of Eastbrand anymore. So it's going to be a 2-horse fight at this point, because Kik has now dropped out of DRS. He hasn't got a lot of ERS left either. Eastbrand has. So at the moment, it's Fireblaze and Eastbrand out in front, as Kik is trying to stay within that DRS range, and he just hasn't managed to do that coming out of turn 1. But Eastbrand is now very close to the back of Fireblaze, within striking distance. He's closed the gap to under a second. 6 tenths, 5 tenths. Is he going to go for the move already? Deploying the ERS. DRS is going to pull alongside Fireblaze on the Camel Straight, and Eastbrand is going to take the lead of this race on lap 6, starting outside the top 10. What a start it's been from Eastbrand.
Unbelievable disease indeed. He starts in P12 and now he's up into P1 with his 6 laps. And here comes the Ferrari and the Williams down towards Rivage we go. Just a bit of space given between the two there as we continue towards No Name. The longer these two fight, the better it is for Fireblaze, as Kik does a switch back and he puts himself back into P3. But this is not ideal there for Kik. He wants to be fighting the top 2 as he goes a bit wider towards P1 then, as Mike is causing a massive headache there for Kik. Kik won't like this at all as we head down towards the final chicane. The more that Mike does this, the better for his teammate. But Eastbound, despite getting past, Fireblaze is not able to keep up with the Haasman, so indicating that Eastbound's got some mega pace, and those soft compound tyres not really the best tire to start on either during the early parts of this race. Then, so Fireblaze possibly feeling the soft compound tyres start to fade off. I'm not quite sure how long they can go in this race, but Ivan now side by side in towards Blanchimon. A bit of wheel banging there between those two as we head down towards the bus stop chicane. We go. Mike just a bit late to brace there, but slides in towards the bus stop chicane, almost taking Ivan out with him, but Eastbound now sets the fast up the Grand Prix. Fireblaze is just there in his DRS. Got to watch out for Kick though in the Williams in P3 because he is catching despite having to hold off Mike for a long period of time.
Indeed, and if I was Fireblaze, I would just try and stay with IMS Eastbound as long as possible, and if he drops out of the DRS, go into the pit lane, because the softs are definitely not working anymore. He hasn't got the pace compared to the cars around him. He's still within DRS range, which is a good thing for him. 7/10 is the gap, but I can imagine that he is going to fall out of DRS during this lap, especially during the middle part of the lap where the tires are most important, as Eastbound is already gaining a tenth or two, up to 9/10 of a second on lap 7. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see Fireblaze putting into the pit lane very shortly, as the softs are falling from underneath his Ferrari. The gap's now over 1 second. Yellow flags are out. It's Timmy Boy having issues at the back, but Fireblaze now out of 1 second, and now he's got Kick right behind him at 1.2, dragging Mike and Ivan and F1 Shorts once again with him, and it's a little bit of a gap to Geitegaas in P7, trying to close the gap. It's not easy when the cars in front all have DRS of each other, but Eastbound comfortably in the lead now on lap 7. It's 1.4 to Fireblast, who's now under threat from Kick from behind. Gap's now under 1 second.
Fireblaze, those soft compound tyres just gave up so easily, and Kick, despite having to hold off and fight Mike for a long time, is able to get back in DRS range. As F1 Shorts is putting Ivan under massive pressure there for P5 as we head down towards the bus stop chicane. Kick in a Ferrari sandwich as he defended for one for a long time. Now he can put pressure on the other as we head onto the main straight. DRS enabled for Kick as we head down towards turn 1, but the main overtaking possibility will be headed down towards the car. Let's see if Kick goes for a move on Fireblaze. He should do. Get past him, and we'll see if we can try and chase after Eastbound. But Eastbound has got so much great pace in the Haas. It's a shame what happened in qualifying, but it's like a Verstappen. As look, our friend is in the chat. It is Julian.
Oh, always good to have him around. He is enjoying it, so that's always good to hear. But Kick, surprisingly enough, not able to go for the move, and Mike is once again lurking around, trying to find a way past as F1 Shorts gets past Ivan, and these two are almost falling out of the DRS of Mike in front. Mike very close once again to the back of Kick, as Kick now, as you said, in a Ferrari sandwich, and now it's the other way around where Fireblaze is the one holding up the cars behind. The gap's already grown to 2 seconds to him and the Eastbound in P1, but Kick trying to find a way past. Normally this is really an overtaking spot. We'll have to stay behind for just a little bit longer and try and maybe go for it on the run towards the final chicane through Blanchimont. Octavia with a 3-second time penalty, but this has caused that F1 Shorts and Ivan have closed the gap once again.
Yeah, Mike is right. F1 Shorts is right behind Mike, so despite those two almost falling out of DRS, got themselves back in immediately with Fireblaze holding these guys up in the mid-speed, high-speed corners. But Kick, he's got to overtake Fireblaze, but at the same time, watch out for Mike right behind him too, because Mike will pounce on him any given moment as we head down towards the bus stop chicane, switching to the inside. When he go down the inside, it is laser base. Can he keep it under control? He can. Not to go in the back of his teammate, but Fireblaze is in the pit lane there to get rid of those soft compound tyres. Their peak performance have gone, and it's time for him to go to mini compound tyres. Look at this, DRS games already as Mike puts himself into P2, but Kick just hits the back of him, and he forces Mike to go out wide there, and I think Mike will be under massive pressure there from Kick as Kick pulls the right side because he wanted to give himself DRS, ready to attack Mike as he's been annoying him throughout the whole race. But Mike has done a fantastic job to defend from these guys behind. Here he is there with the DRS, overspeed and overtake available to him as he goes wheel to wheel now with the Ferrari driver as he puts himself back into second place and Mike demoted to third place. So Fireblaze has rejoined on the bonus mini compound tyres in P12 as Danielle and Octavia swap places for P9 and P10. They're having their own little scrap there for P9, just on the fringes of the top 10. F1 Shorts has hit the back of Mike going towards Purcell, as Mike has a bit of a moment himself, as Octavia has spun the car at the top of turn 7. That's where Fernando Alonso crashed back in 2010. I think he beats himself too.
And so Red Bull going off, struggling for grip on these hards. 8 laps underneath his tires. So Fireblaze, on an alternative strategy, has gone from softs to mediums, will hopefully go to the end of this race. He'll have to do 13 laps on these mediums, and now he will gain time on the leading group. But those, if those softs are gonna last, as we have seen with Fireblaze, they fall off quite quickly. So in the end, Fireblaze might even have the third advantage near the very, very end of this race. It's going to be interesting to see, because the mediums obviously last longer than the softs, but I think the rest of them will stay out for quite a bit longer. So Fireblaze, now all he has to do is close the gap. I say stay out for quite a bit longer, but Kick on lap 10 is going to pull into the pit lane. Is he going to go into the hards then, I guess?
Well, I've noticed something in terms of the conditions. It's getting cloudier out there, so he's on the hardcore power tyres going from mediums to hards, so he's not going from mediums to softs. So this is a change of strategy, as we've got multiple strategies going on out there, but I'm not quite sure which is the best one out of all of them. So here is the Kick then, out of the pit lane. He joins behind Fireblaze, as Fireblaze had one lap to the undercut him, which he has done, as Fireblaze is now putting pressure as Stefan and Heiken Haas are fighting for P5 and P6, as here comes the Red Bull driver Ruben now taking on the RB driver, as he had massive overspeed with the DRS enabled, and the RB was defenseless. He couldn't do anything about it and stays behind in P7. But I wonder how the strategy is going to work out for kicking P11 on the hardcore power tyres, because the hards, are they a good time out here? Do they have the grip? I'm not quite sure, but we're about to find out very, very soon if Kick has made the right strategy or Fireblaze has. As Danny inside aggressively on Octavia, he is desperate to get past, not willing to lose any time on the Red Bull driver there. I thought Fireblaze would have got the move done towards the com section, but he actually had to wait a few more corners to get the move done, and now he puts himself into P9. Not ideal there, as the Red Bull spun the car. Let's see if he hits the wall. He keeps it out of the wall, and he's in the gravel then, so no safety car will be deployed. His teammate, Phage Dennis, gets a 3-second penalty for corner cuts in there. And let's see if any of these guys respond. Will weather play a factor in this Grand Prix? We're about to find out, but let's see if these guys will dive into the pit lane and put on a set of hardcore power tyres, or will they extend it to mediums to softs?
That is going to be the question. From my personal experience, the hards haven't been great. I did a 100% race a few weeks ago where the hards really didn't work at all. They had no grip. They had the tire life, of course, but the mediums and the softs were much better. I'm not sure if there's a difference between 50% and 100% race length with the tires wise, so the hards might be a little bit better on this particular distance. So yeah, I'm not quite sure, but some of these drivers seem to have opted for the hards, but at the front end they're still staying out on these mediums. We're at the halfway point of this race. F1 Shorts is going to pull alongside Mike and retake second place. He's back up into P2 ahead of Mike and Evan, as Kick on the hards, 2.5 seconds behind Fireblaze, and Fireblaze, he is now in clean air, which is great news for him, because he now can try and close the gap to the cars in front. Istvan still leads by almost 4 seconds now, but the gap surely will be coming down on these brand new tires.
That's all about Ruben there, as he still pressurizes Stefan. Those two on the hardcore power tyres, as Heikenhaus is chasing them down. But like you said, I did a 50% race, and I don't think the hardcore power tyres are that good of a tyre around here in Belgium. There's something about them where they just don't have the grip, unfortunately, and Stefan goes a bit deep in the final chicane there, as he just goes a bit wide, but still collects the car, stays ahead of the guys behind. But Stefan, despite being a Division 2 driver, still doing a mega job in the Alpine, keeping these guys at bay, especially Heiken Haas, who is mega quick as well, and Ruben on his day in the Red Bull. So Stefan's doing a mega job so far in P5. Doesn't have a 3-second penalty. Started down in 6th place, made it 1 place so far, due to the expense of Kick and Fireblaze's pit stop. These guys continue to extend on their tyres, so they're not doing mediums to hards, otherwise those guys would have pitted by now, because there's no point just extending before you're on the hardcore power tyres, be useless. As now we head towards turn 1 between the trio there, as there's a spinner. That's not Tavy who's gone for a spin. Could be threatening a safety car at this point, but he's lost an end plate.
I thought they were really struggling. He actually just pitted for new mediums. Oh.
Yeah, so Mike overtook F1 Shorts off the track. He carried way more speed than the Mercedes up towards the hill already on. And he's overtaken it for P2 then, so I'm not quite sure why he didn't lift off and wait behind, because he risked himself a definite warning for sure, but he hasn't got an illegal overtake, so that's lucky there for Mike not to get a illegal overtake warning there, otherwise that could have been his race ruined.
Indeed, and in the meantime, Ruben and Geitekaas have both got past Stefan on Camel Straight, P5 and P6, but the mediums will start to fade slowly but surely, as Octavia once again coming into the pit lane has to replace that front wing. Has been really struggling in this race, has gone off quite a few times.
And guess what, Milan? It is raining.
That is a massive blunder from Fireblaze and Kick Out Fear. They didn't really check the weather forecast, did they?
Nah, so I'm surprised about this. Oh, look at F1 Shorts, they're struggling. Will the rain impact the circuit immediately? Because sometimes when the rain comes in Belgium, it pours and it can affect the track immediately. So these guys be very careful on their older tyres not to lose the car. I don't think they should pit this. Eastbound! Did you see that? Double lot of brakes there going towards the Buster chicane. And Mike's going off the track as well. The track is slippery and they're sliding around. And in the pit lane comes F1 Short. Mike gets a 3-second penalty in the same place where Lewis Hamilton went off in 2008 against Kimi Räikkönen. Ruben is in the pit lane. Stefan is in the pit lane. Is it too early? Is it the right time? It's Danielle hits the pit lane. DRS is disabled. Guess what? DRS has been disabled, and we'll see if these guys who pitted have gained a massive benefit, because this track is long and they got a combination of high speed, mid speed, slow speed corners, and it's been very difficult as well. So these people that pitted right now, they could have played this. They could have done it really well.
He's brought off track again. It's
big
pouring
moment.
down right now. It's getting worse and worse, the track conditions. Eastbrand has thrown away this race affair. He's losing so much time now. And actually, look at F1 Shorts. He's on for a potential race lead after this. 4.5 seconds ahead of Ruben.
Oh my goodness me, what a change in this race. I remember back in 2010 where those guys were struggling on the tyres. Lewis Hamilton went off down at Purcell. Octavia goes for a spin again, and F1 Shorts is gaining a huge race of loss. So great strategy call there. The rain came in one lap and already the track is soaked. What a masterclass strategy there for the guys that just pitted right now to win the Inters, because F1 Shorts, the gap was 22 seconds. And now, Eastbrand's getting so close when Nico Rosberg went off back in 2008, but F1 Shorts is bringing the gap down dramatically. It's all about survival, and these guys have left it too late, unfortunately, by one lap. Just one lap that can make or break your race and change the whole trajectory of your race. Completely out the window now for these guys.
Indeed, it's turned it absolutely on its head, and Eastbrand, well, let's take a look at the gap to F1 Shorts is coming down. It's under 14 seconds. He will be behind by multiple seconds. But yeah, Eastbrand now coming to the chicane as Shorts has already got past Geitekaas, who's just swirling on these mediums, not getting the traction at all, as Eastbrand sliding into the final chicane, into the pit lane, almost losing it once again. But he has found the pit entry finally. So does Mike and Ivan, but where is he going to come out? That's the question.
Well, let's see where he rejoins, possibly behind Stefan, ahead of Danielle. Stefan as well could be up there as well. What a fantastic drive from the Tier 2 driver. As Tim says, he didn't have a setup, unfortunately, so he's running out there blind, unfortunately, as we head down towards Tier 1. And the top three is new. We have a new top three in this race, unexpectedly. F1 Shorts takes the lead of the Grand Prix after a fantastic strategy call to come in the pit lane at the right time, followed by Ruben, followed by Stefan. AMS Eastbound is in P4. And all the hard work he did in the early stages have to be done again in the last part of this race. There is 8 laps left to go, and Eastbrand is on the chase. Does he have the pace to catch up towards F1 Shorts? Maybe Stefan, definitely Ruben, because Ruben has a 3-second penalty. But let's see, can Eastbrand retake the lead? Does he have the pace in these conditions? Does he have the pure pace to try and catch up to F1 Shorts? And we're about to find out in the next 8 laps of this Grand Prix. F1 Shorts, this is a big chance. He did a fantastic job in qualifying, and now he's done a superb job in the race. Started 4th, he's up to 1st, but Octavia keeps dropping it, unfortunately, and that's down at P1.
Indeed, and F1 Shorts all the pressure on me. He's actually, the gap is growing between himself and Isbrand. That must be said. Daniele with the strategy, superb job as well. He was at the back of the grid early on in this race. He's now right behind his teammate in P5. The two Haskars have done a great job in this race, but unfortunately for Isbrand, it all become undone. The gap is still growing. So F1 Shorts, 7.5 seconds it is now. Lost another half a second. He will now catch up to the back of the Alpine of Stefan. He will need to get past as soon as possible, because Ruben is stopped there as well. He needs to be in clean air to try and close the gap. But all eyes are on F1 Shorts. The gap is 5 seconds and we've got 8 laps remaining. Can he do it? He certainly has got the pace right now, it seems like, as Octavia with a disastrous race into the pit lane and into the wall as well. But F1 Shorts, this is your moment. This is your chance. Go for it.
F1 Shorts and the Mercedes. What a strategic plan for him to pit on the right time and the right tyres and get himself into first place unexpectedly as well, when we thought the likes of Kick, Mike, Fireblaze would be the ones to be up there in van as well. But F1 Shorts pitted at the right time and his reward is P1. But at the same time, there's still 7 laps to go in this race, so don't get too excited just yet. I know what it feels like to be in this position after a great strategic plan. I've done it myself back in Monza when I started 18th, pitted at the right time, got myself into the first place, but I lost the lead on the final lap of the final corner because my tyres were too old. That was back in Monza, I do remember that. But it's Mercedes leading here in Spa. Keep it nice and tidy. Don't exceed track limits. The gap is 5 seconds behind, so just keep it nice and tidy. Don't make any sort of silly mistakes by going off the track or anything like that. Keep fully focused because it's not over yet. We've seen that things could change if you start to lose focus and people just get to a bit overconfident and lose the confidence, lose the car themselves because they're not really paying attention or focusing as they seem to think they have it, but they don't.
Indeed, easier said than done though, but F1 Shorts, he is holding on right now. So look at the Ferrari duo, it looks like Mike is actually the quicker driver out of these two. He's right behind his teammate Fireblaze, who seems to be struggling a little bit in these wet conditions. As Face Dennis, by the way, he's fit for a sort of full wet. So is the rain gonna get even heavier then? That's the question. Yellow flags are out once again for Octavia as he finds the escape road more often than the track in this race, and he's gonna get behind or get lapped by Moby Nick. He's almost lapped by the entire field. Not his race, that's for sure. But F1 Shorts out in front, doing his job, holding on 5.5 seconds, and Isbrand is still always stuck behind Stefan and Ruben. Can't seem to find a way past. Of course, it's very difficult in these conditions as well as in P4, but Stefan also still holding on to that podium position.
So I was supposed to mute myself, but I muted myself with a cough. But the two Ferraris then are in close contention of each other once again. Fireblaze and Mike. Mike did an incredible job to defend for Fireblaze, and the Fireblaze, we thought that victory was in his sights today, not even a podium. Will be in his sides.
Face Dennis into the wall where Giovinazzi crashed. Fortunately enough, no safety car, though he has got front wing damage. But he clipped the inside curb, sorry to interrupt, but he clipped the inside curb and went into the wall. As Octavia now has retired in pit lane, but Dennis with an off on the full wet, so it's certainly not raining enough for the full wet conditions as he is driving some interesting lines on the back straight. Straight line seems to be quite difficult when driving a Williams, but yeah, not a great day for him at the moment.
Whether he thought the rain was getting heavier or not, but rain has definitely impacted these two sessions in qualifying and the race. It really does spice things up, but that's what I like about the rain. I don't like it when it's a full wet race because that gets a bit boring sometimes when the cars are stationary and there's not much action. I like it when it's like dry to wet or wet to dry or a bit of both, or when it goes back to normal again. But I like it when it happens because it really throws a cat amongst the pigeons. It really shows the best in people or the worst in people when they can be very good in the dry compound tyres. The dry conditions. And here, Dennis has tied in Eau Rouge, and down the inside goes Stefan. So down the inside goes Eastbound, but doesn't make the move. The VSC has been deployed, so he couldn't make the move anyway. No safety car to influence this race.
I'll tell you what though, Face Dennis absolutely straight lined Radion, so that was fully on purpose.
And eastbound almost straight line Stefan, not on purpose.
But unfortunately, the C2 being a first safety car being caused. It's fortunately not a full safety car, but yeah, faced Dennis out of his race. Not sure what he was doing. But now it's going to have to be keep mindful of that virtual safety car restart and not pick up yourself a drive-through penalty. Can't take too much risk, especially for F1 Shorts. He has the pressure on his shoulders as we go back to green flag racing, and nobody has picked up a drive-through, so well done to everyone. But here we go then, 6 seconds is the gap between F1 Shorts and Ruben Esperanto. Right behind Stefan now. Can he try and go for the move?
Stefan, will finish on the podium because of Ruben's 3-second time. So, how many risks is he willing to take against Eastbrand? Because we know that Stefan is a Tier 2 driver, but still, he's going to go for it. He don't really care if he's a Tier 2 driver or not. He's running his own race. A beautiful little race there from Stefan in Division 2 as he makes his way now towards Puon, but Eastbrand is putting him under massive pressure. Do you know that during that virtual safety car restart, we saw before the VSC ended, that little timing you have when it says the VSC ending, Eastbrand obliterated the ERS, tried to get a better reaction than Stefan, but Stefan managed to hold him off there as he has a massive tank slapper again out of the final chicane. But he's doing a mega job so far, withstanding the pressure against a mighty driver like Eastbrand in a P4. The man that won the Austrian Grand Prix last time out after fighting both Ferraris. I think it was both Williams, sorry, that was Kick and Lucas. As you can see that Eastbrand is gaining and gaining on the Blanche when we go. More quarter of speed than the Alpine. As we make our way down towards the bus stop chicane we go. We didn't dare send him up to the inside. It's a bit too far about to do so. We're still keeping the Alpine under massive pressure. A little mistake from Stefan. Eastbrand will get through very quickly. But here we are then. It's lap 18 out of 22. And F1 Shorts is on his way to potentially win the Belgian Grand Prix. But I don't want to jinx it too early just in case it don't happen. Never know if a safety car come out. Never know if he could make a mistake himself. But he knows now in the last 4 laps there's no need to take any risks. Just bring the car home, keep it within the white lines, although he can afford a penalty if he wants to because he's got 6 seconds between himself and Ruben. But at the same time, don't do that. But here we are then on the main straight we go. The Camel Straight, he's gaining, but he doesn't have the battery to try and overtake him. As we head down towards the con we go, you can see that all these guys started. Eastbound though, right to the back of Stefan as we climb towards turn 7. He's not able to get past him on that occasion. Stefan doing the right thing at the right time, just defending in the right places, keeping himself in the middle of the track. Also got good pace against Ruben too, not letting him go either.
Exactly, Isbran desperately trying to find a way past, but just unable to in these conditions. He's getting close every time, but just not quite close enough to find a way past. Still behind the Alpine. In the meantime, F1 Shorts are doing everything he needs to do in order to win this race. Obviously, don't want to jinx it, as he just said. I'm quite known for jinxing people, as Mike picks up a 3-second time penalty, not his first one I think. In the meantime, he has actually got ahead of his teammate Fireblaze, and he's already pulled a bit of a gap towards Fireblaze, who's now under pressure from Kick from behind. Unfortunately, no, these two are fighting for P7 and P8.
No! He's in the wall! He spun out of Stavlo and he kept his big intact. His podium chance now has gone. He just dropped at the exit of Stavlo and lost the back end of the car. And now Eastbound is up to P3. Danielle is up to P4. Now Ruben will be on the podium because the gap behind him is 8 seconds. But what a shame for Stefan, who could have got a podium. A bit too eager on the throttle there and lost the car. What a massive shame. I feel sorry for him.
Really unfortunate there, with only a few laps to go. A podium seemed almost certain for the Alpine driver, but unfortunately making an error and ending up into the wall, and that is his chances of podium reduced to absolute zero. Very unfortunate for him. Down to P5, potentially with the ring damage could go down even further, which has confirmed the podium for Ruben. Good news for him. And Ishban basically has to stay behind Ruben. He doesn't need to overtake, as he probably won't gain that 6.5 seconds on F1 Shorts anyway, as Ishban now is closing the gap. 3.5 laps to go. Are we going to see any drastic changes at the front? I don't think so, but you never know. Anything can happen as Stefan goes off track with his wing damage, struggling for grip, under pressure now from Mike in the Ferrari.
Oh, he was doing such an amazing job did Stefan. I don't think he's got any end plate damage. It doesn't seem visible, but if he does have damage, then it's only very light indeed. But still has an impact at a track like this when Mike is pressurising him. Stefan does not have a 3-second tablet, of course. Fireblaze is actually dropping away from Mike. Now, let's talk about Mike, Fireblaze and Kick. What was going through their heads? Did they know that the rain was coming? Because I don't think Fireblaze did. Started on the soft compound tyres, so definitely not. But Kick, I don't think those two checked the weather forecast because one went on the hard compound tyres to go from mediums to hards, pitting quite early to get out the DRS train. The other one starts the soft compound tyres, go for a short stint and go on the mediums later on, as you can see that Mike dips away in the gravel there. So it looks like Kick and Fireblaze in great positions really shot themselves in the foot today, as Eastbound is on the back side by side as we head down towards the bus stop chicane. Would he overshoot it? No, he goes a bit deep. Almost contact there, like Pastor Maldonado and Paul Di Resta back in 2013, but he risked it. He risked it all. If he went off the track, he could have got a 3-second penalty for that. But yeah, Eastbound is a fighter. He don't care that the guy ahead has a 3-second penalty. He'll go for it.
He doesn't need to fight it, but he is. And he went a bit deep, almost collecting the Red Bull there. Could have ended disastrously for both of them. But he is trying to fight finish P2 on track rather than due to the penalties. This won't be an issue for everyone sure. So still, well, now the gap is growing because these two are fighting. Eastbrand, once again, right at the back of Ruben. Is he going to try and find a way past on track? He's certainly getting closer lap by lap. As like you just mentioned, Fireblaze and Kick. You would think that at the start of the race you would see the weather icon being wet during the race, or at least ask your engineer when it's getting overcast. But well, unfortunately, a bit of a blunder with that, with the strategy, and that sees them down in P7 and P8 for two drivers that are usually a contender for a podium, even win. So unfortunately, no. P7 and P8, and it's not going to be a Ferrari on the top step of the podium, or even on the podium at all.
They've had 3 podiums in a row in 3 races. 3 different drivers as well, Mike, Fireblaze and Vin Hertz. But no Ferrari to stay on the podium, but there will be a Ferrari-powered engine, which is Eastbound in P3. Still pressurising Ruben for P2. Eastbound, despite that strategy call, by staying out 1 lap later, will still score some mega points for the Haasman. There's still a long way to go in the season as well, as Eastbound, I dare say, is looking a real contender. Look at that, use the overtake in Blanchard when we go. Which way this time? Left or right? Is left, as Ruben defends the inside this time. Outbreaks himself. Will Eastbound do a switchback? Almost lost the car himself, as Eastbound, Ruben parks it in the middle of the corner, not allowing Eastbound to get the exit he needs to do a switchback, as he stays behind him, headed down towards turn 1. This time on the right hand side. Down the inside he goes! Oh, it's so close there between those two as they make contact as we exit turn 1, a power drag race out of turn 1. No way they're going to go side by side. No way! This is going to be absolutely unbelievable, but Eastbound backs out of it because he knows that he doesn't have a 3-second penalty because there's no need to make a move going through side by side in Eau Rouge and Radion because Eastbound's got everything to lose. Ruben doesn't really have a lot. Well, he does have a penalty, but here we are side by side again. No room given there, as Eastbound has to fight it out very hard as he cut the corner as well, going towards turn 4. So he might have picked himself up a warning for that one. Here we are now, headed towards Brussels. Downhill braking zone. Eastbound trying to find a way past. Kick has got past Fireblaze, but Ruben is not letting Eastbound go at all. He's defending for all of his life.
Indeed, what a fight we are seeing between these two for a position that isn't really up for grabs, you know, because Ruben with that penalty knows he won't finish ahead of Eastbound, or he's desperately trying to get Eastbound a penalty or something like that. These two absolutely fighting it out between Ruben and Eastbound for P2 on track at least. Yeah, by the way, they are fighting it, waiting for an accident to happen between these two. No margin at all, as they almost went side by side through Eau Rouge. And his teammate Daniele, P4, looking pretty comfortable there. He's got Stefan still behind us. Stefan doing a good job to hold on despite his front wing damage, though he is under pressure from Mike from behind. Well, albeit with a penalty for the Ferrari driver. So as we go on to the final lap of this race.
And it has stopped raining too, so we've had a mixture of rain as Mike is on the back of Stefan. going wheel to wheel in the break, so Mike just a bit late to the brace. There's contact there, and Stefan's almost to the spin, but saves the car as he does the switchback under and over, but he can't get a better exit than the Ferrari driver of Mike. Kick and Fireblaze have dropped off dramatically away from these two, so Mike, who will possibly finish ahead of Fireblaze, because the gap is over 3 seconds, just over 3 seconds there between Kick and Mike, as we climb up towards the hill between Eastbrand and Ruben once again. How hard are these two going to fight? All contact is made between there. Eastbrand risking everything, and so is Ruben, and Daniela picks himself up a 3 second time. We're heading down towards the calm, and finally Eastbrand has overtaken Ruben longer than expected, and thankfully for him no contact would have been made, because that would have been an easy podium for him. Lost, but it might not be over yet, because Ruben could still get the jump on him, heading down towards Bonchit Bob. But I think the attention should go towards this man in P1 F1 shorts. Best result was 7th place. What a fantastic race it's been so far. At the Austrian Grand Prix, when he finishes 7th, he's only made 1 appearance so far. And here in Belgium, he has shown...
Oh, Daniele is spinning! And he collects Stefan on the final lap. More damage to both of them. Mike to P4 with a 10-second penalty for the Haas driver. Wow.
More carnage, even on the final lap. It stopped raining too, so the intermediate said will not be good at this stage as they'll start over here, but looking for them, it is the final lap as we see F1 Shorts in the Mercedes, who qualified in P4. Ever since qualifying, he's had some mighty pace, and he pitted at the right time, at the right place on the intermediates while the rest suffered. He took advantage, and here he is coming towards the bus stop chicane. The checker flag will be in his sight soon as he makes his way out of the final corner. F1 Shorts comes across the line to win here in Belgium. What a tremendous drive, a great strategy to claim him the win for the first time this season. Eastbound in P2 as Kick gets ahead of Stefan. As we go wheel to wheel in towards the last corner we go, as Kick gets a better exit than Stefan. And now Kick will finish the race in P4 because Mike gets a 3 second penalty as Daniela gets himself a 10 second penalty for a collision with...
It was with Stefan.
It was. I forgot the name. I forgot. But yeah, it was. But Ruben on the podium in P3. Great drive from him. Great defensive there, driving from between those two. But F1 Shorts, well-deserved victory. And Eastbrand, I think he'll be very disappointed considering where he started and all the hard work he had to do to get himself towards the top end of the field. But unfortunately, by staying up there 1 lap later, cost him the race.
Indeed, man, what a race that was, and what a drive from F1 Shorts winning here in Belgium. Definitely did not expect that at all going into this race, to see F1 Shorts out on top after this one. But what a race, what a strategy, and he's played it to perfection, didn't make a single mistake. He had a bit of a rough start to the race, but eventually the race came to him with the rain, and his strategy worked out to perfection. F1 Shorts is a race winner. Well done to him. Eastbrand from outside the top 10 in P2, but there was so much more in for him had the rain not fallen or had he pitted a lap earlier. And the Red Bull of Ruben on the podium as well. Well done to him as he started down in P10. What a race that was.
Indeed it was. Ever since that rain came, it changed the whole trajectory, and the people who pitted immediately, that was the way to go, because sometimes it can take ages for a track to dry, like 2 or 3 laps, but when the rain poured in Belgium, it came immediately and soaked the circuit, and the people that stayed out there 1 lap too late, it cost them in the end. And F1 Shorts capitalised and took the victory. Amazing from the Dutchman. It's the Dutch 1-2 with Eastbrand in P2, with the German of Ruben in 3rd place there despite 3 second penalty. And Stefan, oh, you're going to feel sorry for the man in P5. Great result for a Div 2 driver, still finished 1 place higher than his qualified. But I'm going to say for the people like Kick and Fireblaze, what could there have been if they didn't go on the wrong strategy by pitting too early? I say too early, by going on the original strategy from soft to medium or mediums to hards, but not checking the weather forecast.
Indeed, and so much more in it for both of them. In the end, P4 and P6, they have to settle for that. Pretty strong comeback in the end for Kick. With a rough start to the race as well, to finish P4 after all that carnage on the final few laps as well. But yeah, there was so much more in them for both of them, as Fireblaze was comfortably leading the race until he got overtaken by Eastbrand. He was definitely in the podium position until he pitted, so a bit of a strategic blunder for them. But yeah, in the end, not the result they would have hoped for, but it is the result that they got. So yeah, unfortunate for them.
Jim Allen, nice to see you in the chat, mate. Eastbrand is the same driver. He is indeed. Fantastic from Eastbrand, and he's showing what he could potentially do in the next upcoming races. And I can't wait to see what happens on the season. And I know we're going to let you go, Milan, because you've got another race to commentate after this. But I want to say, mate, before you go, thank you so much for commentating with me again. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I think this partnership is going really well between us two. And I cannot wait to commentate. We've got the next race in China next week at 6 o'clock here at SDN for rounds 8-6-5. Sorry.
I couldn't agree more. Really enjoyed doing it, and we'll be back next week. So that's it for me today, and I'll see you guys next week.
Speak to you later, tot ziens.
Tot ziens, tot ziens.